Hello everybody, this is a requested video. Someone asked me to talk through and go through my communication cards and my communication boards. I'm just going to share in how I use them. The reason why I have communication boards is as a backup form of AAC should something ever happen to my iPad. I find this quite helpful because there's multiple ways in how you can access this. For example, if I've got mobility, I can point to what I want to say. But if I've not got mobility, then we use I call it the scanning method, where let's say my support worker is trying to communicate with me and I'm in full body paralysis. They would hold it up to my eye level so I can see, and they would say blue, red, green, feeling scale, and essentially go through the different categories on the board, and I would communicate yes or no with my eyes to indicate which category I want. And then once we're in that category, for example, if I said the feeling scale, they would start at 0 and then go up the scale, and I would communicate yes or no based on until we get to the right one, essentially. And if I said I wanted the green category, they would just go through each one, and again I would just say yes, no until we get to the right one. It's the same with that's the same method with all of my communication boards. I tend to use the keyboard one the most often, and also with the keyboard I've been training my support workers to actually follow my eye movements. So they would have their finger on a letter, and if I look down, they go down. If I look left, they go left. If I look right, they go right. If I look up, they go up. And then I would blink twice to confirm the letter, and then we keep going until I'm able to spell out what it is that I'm trying to communicate. Oh, by the way, I literally downloaded, printed and laminated these communication cards of Widget Health or widget.com. Widget Health, there we go. And there's lots of different types of these. So there's a paramedic symbol board here, and then there's also like bedside messages. So all of these are pretty much geared for like hospital or medical situations. But they don't have to be as advanced like this. Like you could literally make your own where you have different boxes. I didn't make this, I just downloaded this, but this is an example. You could literally just make boxes, or like with the bedside messages, it could be like sentence boxes, and then there's questions with the doctor, and it's handy to have boxes like this where it says neither yes or no, or do you understand, available to communicate, and then general question, and then depending on the person's needs, you could even just have them as words if sentences is too much for that person. I think a friend actually gave me the word ones. And that is my communication boards. I would definitely say that this one, the critical care communication chart, is my favourite and most often used because of the keyboard. I hope that answers your question and about my communication boards. If I've missed something out, or if you're still confused, or if you need me to go over anything in more detail, please request it in the comments. And then my communication cards I use when I'm post-seizure. I've got mobility of my arms and hands, but I've not got my AAC in front of me. For example, I needed to use these at the hairdressers as I had a flicker flops and I had mobility of my arms. and hands, but I didn't have my iPad in front of me at the time. And my support worker was asking me questions, and I keep this in my wheelchair bag. So I managed to grab it from my little wheelchair bag, and I have this categorized. She asked me if there was anything I needed, and so I went to I need, and then I scrolled through, and then I put my hand on that, and I was able to finger point to the iPad bit, and so she gave me my iPad. I was really struggling to actually make any noise or vocalization that day, so I found that the yes more helpful, because my hairdresser was working on my head, so I couldn't head nod, and like I said, I was struggling to vocalize. Yes, I could have used my eyes to communicate, and I did earlier on when I was coming out of the flicker flops, but it's good to have a variety of different ways to be able to communicate. I also used the thank you communication card quite often as well, and I just had that sat on my lap, and I found that very helpful that day. I've got 3 different types of communication cards, 2 of which were actually given to me by a friend. So these were given to me. I don't think these are branded. I think they were just made. I have something to say, I'm hungry, thirsty, too hot, need toilet, tired, need help, need quiet, too cold, too hot, I don't understand, need a hug, don't feel well, need to move around. And then we've got, I think these are branded, they're called I'm a Genius. I've got different feelings one, and I've also got my communication and my out and about. I've got some simple ones there. And then most of my communication cards I bought myself. They are Stickman communication cards. And these are particularly brilliant if you need to spread awareness to a person who doesn't know you, or to like a random person, as you can go over the different disabilities, but also be just like, hey, I'm a person, and just spread awareness. Like sometimes I flop, don't worry, this is normal, just wait and I'll be better, sort of thing. And if a person asks me why I'm in a wheelchair, this card is particularly good. There are many reasons to need a wheelchair. And also, I may respond using my device, please be patient. Please don't separate me from my person of help. I'm okay with this, I'm struggling. And then I find I need the I need communication cards quite often when I'm using my communication cards. And I find the general courtesy, like thank you communication cards, I use very often and quite helpful. Thank you for offering, but there's nothing you can do right now. There's a couple. These 2 I used at the hairdressers. I showed her this card first, that I'm not drunk, because I felt very lightheaded, and I wanted to express that I was feeling quite woo and not really with it. And so I showed her this card saying, I'm not drunk, it's this dashed medical condition. And then she was like, oh, you feel like that right now? And I communicated yes. And then I showed her this card afterwards, my awesomeness on strike, negotiations for its return are in progress. Honestly, Stickman Communication do tons and tons of different cards. I definitely recommend them. And they don't just do colourful ones, they do plain ones as well. And these tabs are also from Stickman Communications, and I find it quite helpful if you've got a lot of them to like categorize them. And I keep it on a springy cord wrapped around the armrest of my wheelchair so that if I accidentally drop them, and then when I don't use them, I shove it in my little wheelchair bag, so it's always on hand and easy to reach. So yeah, I hope I've covered what you hoped I would cover, but if I haven't, please ask me in the comments. I hope this was helpful.